open borders between Poland and Germany. In November 1989, freedom became possible, peacefully and surprisingly quickly. "20 years later, Christians in the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Eastern Germany have their say. In Prague, a former secret priest muses on the Church's significance in the post-communist era. Is Christianity winning ground again? Or will it lose influence? A question discussed by Polish pupils in religion class. In Hungary, Zoltán Puchard explains the relevance of Christian lay groups in his country's development. In a Benedictine monastery, the Archabbot Imre Astrik Vaszegi talks about the Church's social role in the Hungary of today. Prague. Hardly any other Eastern European metropolis has changed as much in the last 20 years. Tradition and church on the one hand, commerce and consumerism on the other. Society's new capitalistic order marks the street scene. Only about 1/3 of the Czechs still are associated with a church. The country is stamped by atheism. A completely different path was chosen by Sister Wojtiecha 20 years ago. She experienced the Velvet Revolution as a physics major in Prague. Deliberately, she abandoned her studies to become a Franciscan nun.
No, we were students, so we gathered all together in the buildings and we occupied them. We didn't let the people come in. Then we prepared special placards, papers, and we put them everywhere in the beginning in Prague and then outside in countryside. When we put in the beginning the placards, the papers outside, you have to be careful. And then there were some accidents also outside of the Prague when these communistic or police people crashed the car. So we were trying to avoid these situations, but it was great enthusiasm. We were young and strong.
The Velvet Revolution was triggered in part by events on the 17th of November, 1989. On the Narodny Street, the police proceeded against a peaceful student-led demonstration with brute force.
It was on this street when it happened because the demonstration of the students were coming from back from the National Theatre and they wanted to go to Wenceslav Square, but it was closed. The police stand just here in the road with all of these defending things. You could see only eyes of them and the students were here. They saw they cannot go further, so they just sit on the ground. But the police closed the street from other side, so they were closed and they couldn't run away. And they start to beat them and bring them out of the city with big transporters.
November 17th, 1989 is commemorated today by a memorial. But revolution carried on. Soon people gathered in masses only a few streets away on the Wenzel Square. Mass demonstrations with up to 750,000 people followed.
I remember this day because it was my birthday. It was like a present for me because it was on the 21st of November, the first time when President Havel, or future President Havel, spoke here from this square. And then on Wednesday was everywhere in radio, underground, in microphones. Government used some well-known people to tell, don't come to Wenceslav Square today because army will come. But we came and we saw the people, or we saw the soldiers under the roofs prepared everywhere with the weapons to shoot us.
Everything remained peaceful. Nobody shot at the crowd. But every day more people gathered on the Wenzel Square until Václav Havel was elected president on December 29, 1989. Freedom had become possible, even for the churches. Sister Wojtiecha is taking stock after 20 years.
And after 20 years in freedom, we have to reflect how we should serve. We cannot serve the same way like 50 years ago as we started. We have to offer really deep values that the people would choose them. It's a great job.
The vestry of University Church St. Salvator in Prague. Student pastor and University Church's rector Tomáš Halík was a secret priest in former Czechoslovakia.
Für mich war nur eine Möglichkeit, die geheime Kirche. Also ich studierte Theologie geheim in den Privatwohnungen. Zeit zur Zeit kamen zu uns auch die Theologen aus Westen, die Vorträge zu halten. Die kamen als Privattouristen und hatten in den Privatwohnungen die Vorträge gehalten. Das war zum Beispiel der heutige Kardinal Kasper oder der heutige Kardinal Schönborn oder Hans King oder Johann Baptist Metz. Das war ganz gefährlich, Priester zu sein in der Untergrundkirche. Und einige geheim geweihte Priester waren auch tot gefunden. Ich erinnere mich an den Moment, wenn mein Freund kam zu mir mit dieser Nachricht, dass einer von diesen Priestern wurde ermordet und hat mir gefragt, hast du Angst? Und ich habe gesagt, ja, selbstverständlich habe ich Angst. Aber Angst ist nicht Motiv von meinem Leben.
Tomáš Halík kept faith with the underground church until 1989. One day before the fall of the Berlin Wall, he visited Rome.
Ich hatte einen langen Gespräch mit dem Papst und er hat gesagt, sehr bald, Sie werden frei. Und ich habe gesagt, ja, vielleicht, ja, das kann ich nicht glauben, das wird vielleicht längere Zeit noch dauern. Und der Papst sagt, nein, nein, Sie werden sehr bald frei.
Years later, Tomáš Halík reflects on his church's journey in freedom.
Nach der Wende war hier eine große Begeisterung und auch viele Sympathisanten mit der Kirche. Aber wir haben viele dieser Sympathisanten wieder verloren. Weil die Leute bei uns brauchen wirklich eine qualifizierte Partner für einen Dialog. Also eine Evangelisierung ohne Inkulturierung, eine Evangelisation wie eine Indoktrination, das hat keine Chance.
The masses held by Tomáš Halík consistently attract many people. Over the past 20 years, he has baptized over 800 students.
This church is very well known among students because of its friendly atmosphere and also for the priest, Mr. Tomáš Halík. So it was the first choice for me.
Being Christian here is a little bit odd. It's not a majority post. It's more like an exception. And being here a Christian means having to clarify to myself and to the others also why do I believe, why am I Christian, what does it mean to me, and one cannot simplify too much doing this because the world around us here doesn't take many simple explanations. So that means to me critical thinking also about the church, and that's also why I am here, why I'm glad to be with Tomáš Halík.